morning. I'm Dr. Scott Crane, Superintendent of Grand County School District. It's been a while since I've been able to visit with you, but we've been very busy, and so appreciate you tuning into this conversation. We're going to do a PowerPoint that I've presented to the community and to our board and to our staff, but I thought it'd be important that anyone who wanted to check in on it, they could come and see it. It's quite long, and so it's going to be in a three-part section. It'll introduce my philosophies and goals for the district, but we'll cut it down into the first part being concerned with my organizational philosophies, my educational philosophies, and the needs of the 21st century. Then we'll go in and talk a little more about the 21st century and what we will be doing here in Grand County to meet those needs specifically. We'll talk about research, about effective schools, and then what I call the PLC Wheel of Support. The final portion of the three-part series will be talking about my heartfelt beliefs and goals and visions for Grand County. So that is what we're going to be producing over the next few days. So stay tuned. We're going to be discussing the first part of my philosophy and goals PowerPoint, and so let's just get to it. Abraham Lincoln said the dogmas of the quiet past are inadequate to the stormy present. As our case is new, we must think anew and act anew. That's what we are in education. We are confronted with new things daily that we need to be prepared for. And so to prepare for those new, exciting challenges that we're going to be facing, I need to explain a few of my philosophies. Today we're going to talk about my organizational philosophy and my educational philosophy and the demands of the 21st century, and we'll get to the heartfelt beliefs in the third section. So let's just get into it. I believe that the only true constant in an organization is change, and that renewal is a better word for change. When renewal becomes the status quo, then renewal becomes a habit, the norm, the order, and consistency, and people are comfortable with renewal. And it becomes a stabilizing force of the system. You will always have change, and if you fight against change, then you will just cause yourself heartache and depression. But if you understand that you need to embrace change and embrace renewal and meet that as a challenge and go on, then organization will be successful. All the organizations that have been successful in businesses have been able to meet the demands of the 21st century and change internally. The problem that you have is organizations have to involve the people that are affected by the renewal. It has to be meaningful, purposeful, and valuable, and it's limited by the creativity of the people who are involved. John Gardner, who was a researcher in business organizations, said the reality of any organization is that when it is young, it is by nature flexible and accessible to change, but as the organization matures, it becomes old and rigid. The goal is to create an organization that retains the flexibility by continual reform and renewal. Any company that has survived to the 21st century has been able to renew. This is why we have to look at the bureaucracy of organizations, the policies, and see if they are hampering what we're doing and where we're going. Organizations must retain the components that maintain stability while allowing for renewal. And change for change's sake is not renewal. Change that enhances a system's purpose is renewal. And statements that I believe limit creativity, renewal, and promote complacency are, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We've always done it this way. You just don't know how we do things around here, and it's tradition. You have to be able to look at the future and determine what your needs of your organization are, and not get caught up in one of these statements which allows you to have an excuse not to expand and not to grow. So those are my organizational philosophies. My educational philosophy is simply that all students can be successful and learn if their goals are specific and meaningful with meaningful timelines. Success breeds success. Schools control the conditions of success, and the fundamental purpose of schools is learning, not teaching. I've had a lot of opportunities in my life to work with children, and it's amazing when they are able to experience a small step or success they are better able to meet the successes of the future. It's extremely important. I've coached, I've been involved in academics, and when you can get that spark of learning going, and a child understands that they can succeed, they can grow and expand. Teaching is a 5-step process. Teachers need to understand the organizational standards that the students must master to be successful. Then the teacher needs to communicate those standards to the students and explain to them what they need to master to be able to be successful at the grade or in the academic subject. Then the teacher teaches those educational standards to the students to the mastery level. And fourth, the teacher must evaluate the students' understanding of those educational standards. And if the students are able to master them, then they will go on. If not, then the teacher will repeat steps 2 through 4 with different modalities. We can't be complacent in education and believe that the things that we have done in the past are going to meet the demands of the 21st century. The workplace, jobs, and skills demands are changing. Today, every student, whether he or she plans to go to a 4-year college, trade school, or entry-level job, require 21st century skills to be successful. And we need to ensure that all students are qualified to succeed in the work in the new global economy. So what are those 21st century needs that they have? First of all, the skills you need are core subjects: math, science, English, and these are usually defined by core standards. In Utah, it's the Utah core standards. No Child Left Behind was a national educational policy that defined those. But students need those basic abilities to read and write and communicate successfully. Then they need to understand 21st century content, global awareness, financial, economic, business, and entrepreneurial literacy. It used to be that in the United States we could be comfortable and just worry about our own economy. But now in the world, if there's a problem in China or France, we immediately feel those problems and they affect our economy. We live in a global society. Even here in Moab, Utah, we are affected by a global economy. We need to be able to have learning and thinking skills, critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, communication skills, creativity and innovation skills. My son-in-law is a computer programmer. He works in Utah, up north, and he goes to work every Monday morning, just like all of us go to work. But he really doesn't have to go to work because his computer processes that he does can be done at home. He just chooses to go to the office and work out of an office. Now when he gets to work, he pulls together his team and they work on projects for the company. Those projects are widespread projects in the computer business. And if you ask me where his group or his team, where they live, I don't know. They don't live in Utah, and they communicate all by the internet. And so he is functioning in a job where his group or team per se don't work in the same office building as he does. So without these type of communication skills, he would not be able to function in his job. We also need to be able to function within the informational and communications technology. I don't worry about this with students. They can use their computers, they can use their iPhones, they can use Twitter, Facebook. They're proficient at it. We don't have to spend a lot of time helping them learn how to use the technology, but what we need to do is concentrate on the next skill, which is life skills of leadership, ethics, accountability, personal productivity, personal responsibility. Students might be able to use the internet, but can they use it ethically? Can they use it for the good of their skills and the community? So those are the 21st century demands that we need to meet and go on if we're going to be successful in education. Thank you very much. That was the end of the first part, and we'll continue later on. Thank you.